position on USC medical school expansion? What can you do to ensure that the community is enhanced instead of negatively impacted? I can repeat that question for you. What is your position on USC medical school expansion? What can you do to ensure that the community is enhanced instead of negatively affected?
I support the expansion of USC. I think it, like we discussed earlier, I think it will create new jobs in our community and increase the quality of care in our community. But what I would also say is that we need intentional, thorough community input in any development. Part of the challenge we have with out-of-control development is that the community is not included in the dialogue until after decisions are made. So from day one, the community should be involved in what the development that's going to be beneficial to that community looks like. So I do support the expansion, but I like the caveat is we need to have thorough community input. The challenge we have is that developers are currently the ones that are, it's left up to developers to roll out their community engagement plan or piece. So we have to...
You will now move on to Ms. Molina.
Very frankly, this is an interesting issue. I think that USC as an institution of higher education is operating in the 14th Council District as a developer, not as an institution of higher education. We've seen time and time again an opportunity where they could have been a partner with the community. When you look at the invasion of Hazard Park, where they wanted to just cut right through the middle of the street, and we forced them to have a community meeting, they really had their, as they said, their hat handed to them. Because very frankly, they haven't been a partner with the community. I know in my discussions with USC, I said, I'm not going to support you unless you really go to the community first. But all around the neighborhood, they do nothing but develop their own properties. They don't participate. More recently, they corrected that by giving $1 million, as I understand, for programming at Hazard Park, but they gave it to Mr. Weezar to present it to the community. So again, I think that special interest that does not operate in the best interest of the community.
Thank you.
First and foremost, I work at the USC Health Science Campus. I've been there 24 years in medical research. I concur with Molina, Ms. Molina here. USC has not been a friendly neighbor, and I know that for a fact. I am an alum, and that has no bearing on it. I do agree they need to do a better job in outreach and community involvement and participation and engagement. I know when I started there years ago, the homes that are there, they're quaint homes, and people who live there take pride in what they own. And I saw maltreatment, and I was very, very, very disgusted in how it's us and them. And I am not that kind of person, and we need to hold USC accountable. We need to have the community involved in the planning of our neighborhood. This is El Sereno, USC is down the street. They provide a service. Yeah, they are the largest employer in the city of LA. Okay, that's great. But we are the ones who make the decisions on what happened at USC.
Thank you. We will start off this question with Ms. Molina. With regard to affordable housing, please define affordable and talk about the city's responsibility in ensuring housing is available in each community.
Well, again, as far as affordability is concerned, I'm not sure what the exact amount would be. It depends, of course, on the median income of a neighborhood as well as the ability to pay of the person who may be trying to get that affordable housing. So there's a whole equation and evaluation. There are standards that are done by HUD and others. But I think the more important issue with regard to that is how to keep affordability in the community. And I think affordability should be something that the city should participate in. Particularly in areas like Boyle Heights and many parts of El Sereno, we have a lot of people who are only renting their home. It would be better if we could find a way that the city would participate in giving them a down payment, carry a silent second, so that they could buy their own home and then pay practically the same amount you'd have better people who would have a stake in their community and would be a part of the home ownership. I think it'd go a long way to improve it. There are a lot of people that are coming in trying to buy these properties because they're attractive and upgrading them, but I think it should be an opportunity to have more affordability and leadership from the council.
I would like to change the word affordable housing to mixed income housing, whereby we have different levels of income from different families who may need low income, medium income, or high income. We need to be able to live together and not have all the affordable housing in one area. And we need to also make sure that we do have a home ownership program that's incorporated into the plan. What I see happening is that overdevelopment is coming in, developers are coming in, they want to develop their own plan, their own way of doing things, and again, we are left out of the process. We need to have some kind of stipulation policy that if they want to build, they also have to include mixed income housing that's going to benefit the people who are living in these communities. And also give incentives to small businesses to also be part of this plan. So yes, mixed income housing, which is also known as affordable housing, is important as long as it's done right and we are at the table and making these decisions and designs.
Thank you.
Affordable housing is the biggest crisis that we have now in the city. In 2008, so 7 years ago, we had $108 million in our Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Now we're down to $26 million. This year, in fiscal year 2014-2015, the city allocated a token $1 million to the fund. As long as we're not able to find a permanent revenue stream for our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, we're not going to be able to give incentives to build affordable housing. So I think that's one of the challenges we have now. There's value capture policies that are being discussed at the council level, where if a developer comes in and does not want to build affordable housing, they would have to pay a certain percentage into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to help raise revenue for the trust fund. As far as what is affordable, it's hard to say because different communities have different median incomes. Boyle Heights' median income is about $22,000.
Thank you very much. We're going to continue with the question about land use. This question is from Erica, who is an active stakeholder and community member. Developers often make many promises to get projects approved. There are developers currently asking for rezoning, which will only benefit their projects. Please comment on how you would respond to these requests for projects which overextend public services, burden neighborhoods, and deplete open spaces. This question will be answered by Ms. Diaz. Would you like me to repeat it?
Sure.
Developers often make many promises to get projects approved. There are developers currently asking for rezoning, which will only benefit their projects. Please comment on how you would respond to these requests for projects which overextend public services, burden neighborhoods, and deplete open spaces.
I agree that there are developers that have total disregard for our input. I believe in accountable development, and that means that developers are at the table, stakeholders are at the table, small businesses, residents, tenants, homeowners, property owners. We need a seat at the table. And one thing most important is that the community plan. I know it's in the revision process right now. It has been long overdue. 70 years is way too long. We have a lot of we have 800 pages of codes and zoning that is not up to code. It is not working. So we have to get that in line, and also to make sure that accountable development includes making sure that the developer includes us. As it pertains to surplus, sometimes they talk about surplus, but we're never in the room. These deals are made behind closed doors, and then after the fact, they're presented to the community and say, this is what we have for you, and there's nothing that you can say or do about it because it's a done deal. No more of that. We need to stop that type of business because we are the taxpayers. This is our community, and we need to make sure that accountable development is done right.
Mr. Chavez?
Developers promise, yes, can you hear me? So developers make promises that often they don't keep. That's a common theme we're all familiar with. A perfect example, or one of the things we need to do is deal with how we approve development projects. Right now, each council member gets to wheel and deal and basically negotiate on what we get and what they get. So there's no standard way that we approve development projects. One example is the building that burned in downtown LA. There was a sky bridge that they wanted to build on that development. It was against the city plan that was trying to encourage more walkable streets. But because the developer is very influential, because he has very deep pockets, and he's one of the biggest supporters of Weezar called on a special session of the council, and they overrode the recommendation of the planning commission. Wow. So those are the types of examples on what irresponsible development is, that they even disregard the plans or the recommendations of the planning commission.
Thank you. There is a white van that is blocking someone who needs to leave. If you hear that honking, if you have that white van, please move it immediately. Someone needs to get out. Thank you.
Again, I oppose rezoning any property for the benefit of a developer. There might be an opportunity where you might increase density, but you have to get a trade-off of either affordable housing, amenities that are provided to the residents around the area. One of the biggest problems we've had in the city of LA is a lack of enforcement. There is many of those trade-offs that have been promised and then not provided, and there isn't any enforcement whatsoever. I think that there have to be fees and there have to be penalties to those developers that have made certain conditional promises, and if they don't, then they need to be penalized for it in a severe financial manner.
Thank you. This is a follow-up question, and it will be answered by Ms. Williams first. This question is from a stakeholder, Stephen. What is your position regarding small lot rezoning to the proposed development on Eastern and Lombardy by Clearwater Development Communities? And what are
Eastern and what?
On Eastern and Lombardy. It's right here on the corner.
Yeah, it's right up on the hill.
It's right on the hill. Okay, so what alternatives would you propose for that use of land?
You know, very frankly, I haven't looked at the proposal, so I don't know enough about it. I know that there is an interest in building townhomes there and other kinds of housing, but I don't know what the zoning is, what the land use is, and what the recommendations have been of the neighborhood and the community. So I look at all of those issues before I would do any aspect of permit.
Thank you. For the second question, how would you like to see the land used?
Well, of course, I always love open space much more than I do with more density. This area doesn't have enough open space, and so if there was an opportunity to protect it as open space, that'd be first. But since I don't own the land, and the city doesn't either, we're going to have to work with whoever does own the land to find those opportunities to make good use of that property. And like I said, I don't know what they're proposing.
Thank you. All that in a minute. Fantastic. Ms. Diaz?
Yes, I too need to be more privy in regards to the land use there. And also, it's important to me, again, to make sure that there's community input. And also, I need to learn more about the plan. I am an environmentalist and health professional. I believe in green space. I believe this community needs more green space for their children and families. So that's one alternative, but then again, I still need to learn and educate myself and inform myself better before I make any decision on this issue.
Thank you. Mr. Travis?
I also need to get more informed on what exactly is being proposed. As far as what we would prefer to see would be, like we said, parks, open space, and if there is anything like an affordable housing unit or anything of that nature, I would also like to see a real community benefits agreement that comes with it, either space for community meetings, community clinic, workforce development center, something of that nature. But like I said, I don't know enough about what's being proposed currently.
Thank you very much. And that question was asked by stakeholder Stephen, who perhaps you can speak to more about the issue regarding that. This next question, and we're going to start this next question with Ms. Diaz. What is your stance on medical marijuana dispensaries? How do you address issues like 2 dispensaries on Valley Boulevard that are within a half a mile from each other?
I am greatly opposed to any medicinal marijuana dispensaries located near family, residential units, residence homes, schools, churches. They do not belong there at all. They need to be placed and relocated in business, in manufacturing, industry areas, not in residential areas or commercial areas where we see them. I do work in the medical profession. I know that there are some patients that do need medical marijuana or medicinal marijuana, whether they're HIV, cancer victims,